The hour is at hand when the 10 are...
No! Blastro, sweetie. Say it with more conviction. Strength. Maybe if you shared your plan with me, I could direct you better. After all, I did tell you where the Green Army headquarters is. You can trust me.
Yes, I know I can. The hour is at hand when the Tan Nation will take its rightful place as the most supreme power in the world. I will give Colonel Grimm 48 hours to surrender, or everything that he holds dear will cease to exist. And I do mean everything. We can't surrender. We have no choice. The Tan Army is advancing on all fronts. We have no defense against their super weapons. This war is all but over. If we could destroy the remaining portals, we could even the odds, sir. The last one is located in the heart of the most heavily guarded fortress ever built, Fort Blasto. I'll get in or die trying. It's a 1 in a million chance, boy. Sounds like good odds to me. It's suicide. Colonel, suicide is my middle name. Well, actually, it was my brother's middle name. The one who died. We will insert you about 20 clicks outside of Fort Blasto. Your mission is to find a way inside the fortress. Once inside, you will radio to HQ for further orders. Colonel, I'll have Vicky home in time for dinner.
You know, as terrible as this draw distance is, I'm really loving the pink. I feel like this is just what Sarge imagines all the time.
First time I saw it, I imagined it was just a cloud of pink sherbet. And thus, I thought that was Sarge's favorite flavor.
I think it's just a daydream that he's having. Anywho.
It could be.
Yeah.
So welcome to the battlefield, Private Nuffkins.
It's only that because Alex got drunk one night. Changed it.
Well, welcome all the same. I hope this battle is not too traumatizing for you.
No, although it is my first time, I'm completely green when it comes to military, and just differently than Sarge.
Oh, this is gonna be a good segment.
Good to go.
Some people would call it that.
I can never get enough of your puns.
Yeah, that was the idea behind Alex's name change.
So, the battlefield then. Minefield, as I'm sure you've seen before. We have to disable this bug zapper. Any other game, I'm sure, would call this a force field around the fortress.
Or an invisible wall. I've seen quite a few games do that.
Or an invisible wall, indeed. This is very much not invisible, though. As a gameplay hot tip, if you touch the bug zapper, you will die immediately.
Is plastic conductive to electricity, or...?
In this world, I guess it is.
Alright.
Not the only bout of bad logic in terms of this game. There's plenty of other things that are questionable. But that's where our suspension of disbelief kicks in. Like an understanding that there can be a house that seems populated, but no humans are ever seen.
Well, yeah. Everybody in this game is plastic except for Vicky, and that music change.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you over the badassness of this scene right now.
I'm not sure helicopter is worth that much rock and roll, but anything that'll give me...
How about blasting the fuck out of it, eh?
Yeah. Still, I guess it does fit the game, and... Alright.
And there went the music. So yeah, that's how we turn off the bug zapper.
I'm very confused because there's nothing plugged into this power bar, and so turning the button the other way will do nothing.
Remember that thing I said earlier about logic in this world?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I just imagine that there's some cord running underneath it, but that still doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Leader 1 calling Sly Fox. I'm inside the fortress, Sly Fox. Roger that. Find that portal, son.
I don't know why he's codenamed Sly Fox. Colonel Grimm can be heard from 1,000 miles away with his deep, raspy voice.
Yeah, the characters are all voiced by the same person, eh?
They are. Jim Cummings. Except for one, I'm sad to say.
I'm pretty sure it's Vicky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's a shame. I can still imagine Sarge in the voice actor's booth trying to put on his best feminine impression, but, you know, I guess it isn't too accurate.
With the talent that Jim Cummings had, and he really did just a ton of voice acting work.
Yeah.
Like right up there with Billy West, just one of those incredibly versatile voice actors.
Look alive.
I wouldn't have put it past him to try it.
So
At the same
who did the
time,
voice?
though, some no-name at 3DO, unfortunately.
Ah.
I think she obviously voiced Vicky in Sarge's Heroes 2 and the Portal Runner games, but outside of that, I don't think she did that much else. Although she might have been a developer.
Seems
I'll have
pretty
to look
likely.
up the name, because I feel bad about forgetting. So is this running and gutting badass enough for you yet?
It's pretty badass. I just feel like if this is going to be a spiral, it's gonna get old pretty quickly.
Well, never you fear, because we won't be mowing down just soldiers.
Ah, are there gonna be any tanks, helicopters, bugs?
I'll
Good to go.
let you find that out for yourself.
Oh, great.
When I was playing through this part, I actually was reminded of Commando, the scene near the end where he pulls onto the enemy Fortress Island, if memory serves right. Somebody's gonna grill me for not remembering exactly, but he just pulls onto this island and literally starts mowing every enemy soldier down for an entire 5 minutes, and nobody can touch him.
Good to go.
Did they have the courtesy of speeding it up a lot?
Well, this was a 80s Schwarzenegger action flick.
Ah, if it's
So-
with Schwarzenegger, then it's fine to go on for as long as it wants.
Exactly. Now I'm imagining Schwarzenegger voicing Sarge for this game.
It would be different. I'm not too sure that it'd be even more manly, but it would be up there still.
Colonel, I'll have Vicky home in time for dinner. You could say that we'll be back.
Yeah, you could say that.
I apologize, that was a terrible Schwarzenegger.
It was better than I could do. And it seems like the camera angle's changing when you get too close to the wall.
You could be forgiven for initially thinking that this game was trying to emulate the real-life effects of whiplash that soldiers normally experience in battlefields like this. But no, we just chalk it up to poor camera controls. Such was the nature of the PlayStation 1, but I guess you can't fault them, because in any other game, you wouldn't want to have your back up against a wall and then not be able to see yourself.
Of course not.
So they zoom in to first person, but then it goes in and out so quickly. Oh my god, I forgot what I was saying because it's so fucking awesome. Music.
Yeah, the music's back. Is it only back for a helicopter again? Or...
No, it's back for a rocket launcher guy doing a little jig before turning around to fire at us.
Alright.
And us killing him before he even gets a chance.
At least he was stylish.
Did I mention this game wasn't the best programmed of its day?
No, it isn't that well programmed, but I'm sure that the weird camera and stuff, that's just something to put in the developer's log as something to fix.
It's charming in its own right.
Yeah. Especially against these walls. It's almost like that was a pun.
You could say we broke through that fourth wall.
I guess you could.
No, that didn't make sense. Don't make me watch that.
Oh, okay. I'll try not to.
Don't acknowledge the joke, right, viewers? There, now it kind of makes sense.
Are we going down the same corridor as before, or is this one slightly different?
Well, of course this one is different. I mean, look at how many yellow dots there are. And that helicopter just flew over us.
But I thought
Did I mention we are apparently the best at camouflage in the Bravo Company Commandos, because he went right over us and didn't see us at all.
I think that the music was supposed to play for the helicopter, but then it changed back, even though the helicopter was still alive. I'm a little bit confused.
Music is very temperamental in this game.
Yeah, I
It
figured.
is awesome, but it changes abruptly.
And it doesn't entirely fit all the time.
It's true. Yeah, this is one of the lengthier corridor sections. With blind guards, apparently.
Oh, I think he's just examining the crate. His job isn't a soldier, his job is as a food inspector, and you just ruined his day.
Any tan soldier is an enemy to me, or to Sarge, I guess. You know, put through a different perspective, this could be actually... Like, all these guys could be just regular Joes in the army. They enlisted to, like, pay for college debts and that kind of thing. They have families of their own, and we're just mowing them down out of some sense of self-superiority.
Well, I mean, Sarge is pretty superior to all of them.
It's true. He eats little shits like this for breakfast.
Yeah. I also love how many buildings there are here that are all about cavalry, even though there is no cavalry.
I'm sorry, I needed a second to blow up one single enemy with a bazooka.
Yeah, seems like not a waste at all.
But yeah, cavalry... U.S. cavalry, no less. Which brings up the question, are the tan soldiers Americans? Do you think?
Well, judging from the bathroom, they seem to be in a sort of American kind of household, so maybe.
Then who are the green soldiers, I wonder?
The people on pecans? Cans of peas, not peanuts.
I gotcha. The cans of peas versus the entire U.S. Army.
Yeah.
Well, at any rate, that level's done.
Yeah!
Wouldn't you be excited for 61 kills?
I'm a pretty pacifistic person.
Drop your weapon or she dies.
See, I told you it would work.
What? Vicky, you... Oh, no. How could you? What a fool you are, Sarge. Do you really think you could have slipped into my fortress so easily? This isn't over, Blastro. Au contraire. That's French. It's quite over for you and your green army. Throw him into the pit!
Wait. One farewell kiss, please. For old time's sake.
Well, seeing as how it will be his last. But no French out of you.
Watch out for bugs.
I'd hate to be Vicky. Her job is basically as Plastro's object, which is kind of terrible.
So much for dinner.
But then again, boobs are plastic, it's fantastic. And that... I don't think that sand appears that way.
Ah, it looked realistic enough to me.
Well, this is a lucky breakthrough.
You're not afraid of bugs, are you?
No. Only when they're, my size, and I can
Like
get a
that.
better look at them. Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and mention right off the bat that this is one of my favorite missions in the game.
I'm not sure how there's such large foliage providing a maze, and how there's apparently plastic men-sized grass as well? I'm not sure I grasp that concept.
Well, don't you worry. In this segment, we're really going to be mowing down the rest of the soldiers.
Planting a seed of hate? I don't know, that's the best I got.
It'll come to us.
Alright.
But yeah, so I don't know if you picked up on previous segments, but we do go back and forth between the real world, and this is our first time in... No, our second time in the outside of the real world. And there are spiders. Presumably this happened after a rainy day because of how cloudy it is.
Yeah, they got rid of the pink. What's that all about?
Well, the real world is a bleak, tortuous existence.
Yeah, I guess.
So it's gray.
And are spiders the only insect-ish creatures that we're going to be seeing around here?
In this level, yes.
Oh, that's a shame.
Well,
I thought other insects would have to answer for their crimes.
Well, at least these guys aren't spying on us and relaying information to other tan soldiers. Mine was more of a stretch, I apologize. Anyway, so the reason we're keeping our distance is because if a spider is coming at us, you may have noticed that ants take off quite a bit of health if they get up too close to us.
Yep.
Spiders, much more so. And they're a little faster, so they get to us a little quicker. So, if we ran right up to one, we'd be tangled up in a web of all sorts of trouble.
And so you had to stand back and shoot it 20 times, and even then it didn't realize what was going on?
They're not the brightest spiders in the web.
I mean, I guess that works.
So, don't you ever remember back in the day when you used to play out in the yard with your army men and your lunch boxes?
No, not exactly.
I don't either, so I don't know what kind of bizarro real world this is. But I sure am impressed by the team, the high heat, and their 2000 streak. Oh, I can't even make a joke about it anymore.
The music is very, very emotional, almost. I feel like this is the coming home of a soldier, and oh, it's gone. Well.
Just as quickly as it appeared, it disappears.
Hashtag
the reason
hope.
we came over to this side is actually because we do need a little bit of ammo. And also there are some guns over here that we need, i.e. a rocket launcher. And I have no ammo right now.
For any of your guns, or for just this one?
For any of my guns at all. And this is unfortunately not like GoldenEye, where I can run up and slap. So, masterfully executed, grabbing ammo, and then running right back.
That was impressive.
Yeah, I wish in real life I could abuse a glitch like that wherein I run along a wall and go faster because of it. Sadly, such is not the case. Took a little bit of a beating, though.
I always try to run into walls. It hasn't worked yet.
It will someday, maybe.
I'll keep trying.
But yeah, here's where I gotta get a little more ammo. So, if I seem like I'm just randomly busting up boxes, it's because they typically hold guns or ammo, but by this point I've already known which ones are duds and which ones have actual use.
And why are you using bazooka ammo for this?
Because there's only one tank coming up, spoiler alert, and I have enough bazooka rounds for that, but I need plenty of gun rounds for other soldiers, because there'll be a lot of those.
Guns do what bazoo can't.
Indeed they do. Okay, I like that. I'm gonna give that to you. But yeah, there's our one tank.
Why are there all these soldiers out here? I mean, we've already gone through one segment outdoors in, like, somebody's yard. What are they guarding?
Well, there is something out here that we need. You remember, of course, that this game is all about escort missions, right?
Yeah, I feel like that's not something that the game should be proud of, but...
Well, I made a mention earlier, in the LP in general, that the escort missions were really not that bad, in that the guys are actually helpful when you rescue them.
Look alive!
Except for that mine guy. He was kind of annoying.
Except for Hoover, who was a deadweight, exactly. Speaking of mines, this is actually a very populous minefield.
The music changed when you killed that last enemy.
It did.
It's a lot less climactic now. I really like the other one better. It kinda tanked now.
You really need to mine your steps around these parts.
This video is taking a turn for the worse, isn't it?
I'm sure somebody will appreciate our punniness.
Hopefully.
But yeah, one wrong step could easily result in our destruction. And on hard mode, on easy mode or normal, you could be forgiven for stepping on a mine and just kind of nick ya. But on hard mode, you absolutely die, no questions asked, similar to the bug zapper. Now, are you ready for this?
I'm not sure what this is, but sure. I guess.
Oh, best music in the game!
For another shooting section?
For the most badass shooting section ever!
Okay, yeah, I like the music. Maybe it doesn't fit too well, but I really like the music.
It's because this is fucking awesome. Now there's only one problem.
Which is?
The lack of enemies.
Yeah!
If there were ever a moment where they should have just flooded this, and this is a big space, look at all this. I want to jam out to something that sounds like Baba O'Reilly and just slaughter dozens of soldiers, but there were only like half a dozen, and now we're back to plain Jane music.
Oh. I do have to say, though, that area, it looked very grating.
Just like this segment.
Oh.
I was doing the moonwalk there. Hope you're okay with that.
I'm completely okay with that.
I wasn't sure if there was an extra bazooka up there, but there was not.
I love it when I find extra bazookas on top of letter and number blocks.
I really could use one right now for these two tanks.
That pun tanked.
Anyway, so I don't have quite enough rounds right now, so we're going to do a little friendly fire action.
That's what friends are for.
Exactly, blowing each other up, because they're too thick, no pun intended, to not hit their friends. We still don't have enough bazooka rounds, but we gotta play a little hopscotch here. To get all the way over to this one on the far stack of blocks.
Party time.
Did you ever play hopscotch in grade school, Nuffkins?
A little.
Can't you imagine it being so much more intense with rockets being fired at you?
I imagine that would have helped a little bit, yeah.
Look alive!
So, getting back in tune with escort missions, here is where one of our comrades is. Hidden in this little alcove. His name is Scorch, and you'd never guess what his main role is.
It probably has to do with water, right?
Exactly, he's the water boy for the Army football team.
Also, I really like that pink, what looks like a food dish.
I wonder why there's something that seems to be a dog food bowl in this game.
Near a, is that a cat house? I think it's a cat house.
We gotta get back to the portal. Didn't you notice all the bodies in the woods? Any object that enters this reality from our world has a limited amount of time before freezing solid like a statue. Vicky Grimm calls it getting plastered. Well, I wouldn't buy much stock in anything
Getting
Vicky
plastered?
said. Her and Plastro are in cahoots.
Sounds like something I did this last weekend.
No way.
Plastered or plastic?
No, you... Well, what do you
Life is
know?
plastic, and it's fantastic.
She must have slipped me this film when she kissed me goodbye. We've got to get this to Colonel Grimm ASAP. Now where's this other portal?
So that's Scorch, and for the record, I have no idea what kind of accent he's trying to have.
It works, I think.
Yeah. Sounds kind of like New York Italian, but it's a little bit of a stretch. We'll come back to Precious. For now, this is where the segment, or this mission itself, gets a little sticky.
Good to go.
So we really have to be quick once we destroy this tank. But the guy operating it is really dumb. He's got his sight sets on Scorch, but not on us.
I don't think that's a good idea.
No, you could stand right in front of him for 10 solid minutes. He will not hit you at all.
Well, why don't you do that? I think that'd make a very interesting portion of the LP.
Maybe it would. Maybe I'll do that someday.
Extra
But for
video
right
bonus.
now, indeed. For now, the flamethrower. And I apologize. From here on, it's going to get a little quick. So, okay, we destroy the tank, and Scorch is going to be an idiot, and he's going to run off right ahead, so we got to run in front of him, because otherwise he's really careless, and he will get killed by literally all these soldiers, and by the way, there's a spider over to his left, but it's not going to hit him. So we got to kill all these enemies before they even have a chance to land a hit on him, and you're going to see that even if we do that, they're still going to hit him, and it's going to be scary, because he's about to get killed right here, right now.
Well, isn't that spider what you meant when you said sticky?
Good to go.
Precisely, yes.
Alright.
Now, I might have made that look not so bad, but his health went down quick.
You first. I'll set the charges and then follow. Hey, Sarge, you always set the charges. You know how
This
much I love
doesn't look
TNT,
very
but
realistic.
come on. Quit
I'd say it's
jabbering
pretty
and get
poor,
going.
till...
Now!
That's as good a note to end on as any, I say. Thanks for joining me, Private Nuffkins.
Anytime, it's been a pleasure.